And we are live. Hello, guys. It's the Analytics Den here. And today I'm going to be doing some Lions talk or maybe playing some Minecraft. That way, you guys actually have something I'm looking at when I'm talking about Lions football. And I just want to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about Seahawks games, the injuries, what to maybe expect after the latest injury report, and maybe just talk a little bit about some football a little bit. And maybe I'll some people view some things. So we get this started. I'm going to do a single player world because that's always a little bit faster. I'm going to do but then that world. And then that someday in case I need it. And try that. And there we go. So before we're actually getting to the live and actually start some stuff, I want to thank you guys for being viewers, and I did have some other news. I'm going to be getting some ear surgery, except it's going to be before my mission, so I'm going to be leaving on time for my mission. And yes, that's pretty exciting. We'll be leaving the 24th, officially now with no setbacks, and going to be a full hearing, and my left ear is no longer going to be needing a hearing aid. So that's pretty exciting stuff. And yeah, wait for the world to kind of slowly set in. That way it's faster for everything. There we go. It's loading in. There we go. All right. So first off, injuries, of course. So Amon-Ra St. Brown is listed as questionable, along with Josh Reynolds, uh, Ragnow again, and Jonah Jackson. So this could actually be quite the interesting situation, because Swift is also listed as very much as doubtful. Campbell said you'd have to show a whole lot of stuff in order to even play. So he does have a lot on his plate in order to prove that he's like the guy for this. And so I would not be too surprised if it doesn't work out for them. I gotta put this in here so I can see your guys' comments. I forgot to keep my phone on. There. Mute, mute. Boom. Boom. Ah, crap. Gotta. Okay, apparently I won't be able to do that, gentlemen. So I'll just have to click down and check your guys' comments at times. Oh, which my phone's not going to work for that. There we go. I've got a crafting table. So now we can make tools. Yeah, so that's a big thing. I do think that this could be a little bit of a beneficial like thing because well, the biggest reasoning is this could be really a good idea to see how Jared Goff can do without St. Brown. I think this could kind of be like a little bit of a prove it. We're still favored to win this game, so I think it's possible. And you got to note that these guys are not officially out. Um, Josh Reynolds is listed as probably going to play by Dan, and so that's what we're going to kind of be seeing from that. I think most likely we're going to see Shark. We're going to see Praying Mantis himself. Then we're going to see probably some Khalif Raymond and some St. Brown, which are some very nice possibilities. So that's also pretty fun. Uh, is also good. But the reason I'm kind of excited to see what this brings to the table is um, what can a quarterback do without his weapons? This is very, very hard to tell because most teams have a hard time with quarterbacks when they lose their weapons. Uh, like even Lamar Jackson last year, this year's leading scorer was not that good as a passer, and so it is going to be interesting to see how Jared can do without all the weapons in the world to help him. So that's going to have to of course be a thing. But I do think that there is also the possibility that this game could be a little bit more tough than it needs to be because of all the injuries. I do think Frank is going to play, and I do think Jonah is going to play. And so I'm not too worried right now about that. Um, I still think the game is going to be a Lions victory. I'm not confident in the Seattle team. I'm not confident in really anything about Seattle in general. I think Gino is a good game manager, and that's going to basically be it. I think he has kind of shown that he can be a capable game manager, but that is not going to be enough, in my opinion, to think to win. I think there, we saw Josh Reynolds have a pretty good week. I think it was 96 yards versus Minnesota. So he's very capable to be an explosive receiver. We even saw that last year in the Arizona game, where you can just really help out a team. A little area over there, get some cobble, but it's kind of the biggest thing. But then here's what I want to talk about. This is the thing that I've noticed a lot whenever there's conversations about players, especially in the Lions. The idea that a Lions player has to be perfect. It's extremely interesting to me how Aiden Hutchinson can have maybe a bad game or two. He's had an elite game one game, like the Commanders game. Don't get me wrong, I like Aiden Hutchinson to play better. I'm not saying he played well in Minnesota or in Philly, but of course things happen. I still think that Hutch was decent versus Philly, but I expect more out of your number 2 overall pick, of course. But the fact that people are labeling him a bust or saying that Trayvon Walker would be the better pick is just crazy to me. That's just clearly not true. Yo, what up, Reed Turner? Hearing aids are actually working pretty good, especially my left hearing aid. I'm gonna get them on a program soon that they're more adjusted to my hearing aids. So that's gonna be fun and get to nice and see pretty well. One thing there. Let's get this thing here. So that's pretty exciting. Hearing aids is fully here on there, so it's a lot of fun. It's a whole new world. It's a bit of an interesting thing to kind of get used to. Before I start. So just something I think it's out there. But like Myles Garrett, he had games where he was shut down. Nick Bosa did too. It doesn't mean that they were not worth their draft spots. Myles Garrett's top 2 edge rusher, and it's very well Hutch could be there too. He is also number 2 overall pick. But also got to remember that not every draft player is equal. So just because one guy was picked number 2 doesn't mean every number 2 overall pick is going to act like that. Not every guy is Garrett. Not every receiver is Calvin Johnson. So I think it's just a good little reminder to have in our heads. Is it's a Lions rookie. Can't really get past the fact that we are coming off a rebuilding year. We still kind of are rebuilding, but that does not mean that we are not going to have perfection or we can't expect greatness. But I've seen guys be like, "Oh, I was a coach or I was a player beforehand. I know that Hutch is going to be sucky and all this or then, or I even see people talk about, oh, the eye test. And people disregard things like stats. They disregard the average film because, like, oh, this guy passed the eye test. Especially because the biggest thing is that I've noticed is film is a very helpful tool, just like analytics, but you cannot have it by itself. I've noticed things that I saw in a player. I'm like, wow, this guy must be really good at this, but he actually doesn't on a general basis. And unfortunately, people still think that just because I saw this couple plays in film, it means that this player isn't good at that. So, like, I'd be like, oh, Trayvon Walker is a better pass rusher. In fact, he's definitely performing better. And he showed me a clip of Trayvon getting a sack week 1 versus the Commanders. And I'm just kind of like, well, dude, that's a single clip. Hutch has also gotten 3 sacks in the game versus that same team. And he's like, oh, you didn't beat him like that. Well, I'm like, well, dude, you don't just bull rush or player all the time. Joe Thomas talked about it. There's these things called hustle sacks. And those are actually the majority of edge rusher sacks. Not every sack's going to be, oh my gosh, he bulldozed them like, like Hutch did versus Nicholas Pierre at Ohio State. It's just not common. So it's just a bit of an interesting thing to me that I see a lot of people that I think they know a whole lot because they either played or they watch film only. When it's not always the whole story, and everyone can just look at something their own way. I can show a clip of Trayvon Walker looking bad, and seen plays where he's been stuffed and he got beat. So does that mean Trayvon Walker's bad because I can find a clip of Trayvon Walker getting beat? No, Trayvon Walker is playing good. He's not sure he's not playing perfect, but that does not mean he's not playing elite. So I just think it's a bit of an annoying stretch that, oh, hey, I found this singular piece of film. So that means this guy is not good and this guy's better or whatever. There's always got to be a little bit of everything. So my way of football is you got to have both and be like, okay, what does both mean? Both, in my opinion, is I watch film, I notice something, and then I go, oh wow, this guy is really good at doing X. And then I go and look, and holy crap, wow, this guy actually does not do that consistently. So say he passes. Okay, say I watch a couple clips like Jared Goff versus Minnesota back when he had that perfect passer rating game. Like, oh wow, this guy is really good at throwing the past 30 yards, frick a skeleton. So that must mean this guy's really good at throwing a deep ball. Well, no, in reality, is Jared Goff right now isn't throwing amazingly past 30 yards. He's actually throwing pretty good, actually, past 20-yard line. Let's see. Oh, this is a freaking creeper. Oh, actually, I got an idea. Skeleton did not aggro on me. Fight the skeleton, but that did not go at all according to plan. Survived. Let's go. The boys. Okay, back to what I was talking about. There's just so much that you can do in a game, and there's just so much that you can watch any form of film that you want. That does not mean that you're all annoying. I admit that I'm not the most annoying person I've ever seen in football. I've been wrong plenty of times. I thought Lewis Sign was going to be an absolute go, and I was kind of jealous that Minnesota got him. The dude can't even start over Josh Metellus. So I was very wrong on that. I mean, no respect to the NFL players, of course, but there's just so much that people can get wrong, myself included, and that does not mean that someone is either right or wrong. And because really, just there's context and there's consistency. I think sometimes people forget that. I need to get some of these real quick. Okay, so now outside of that talking, so I did also want to talk about um, being owned by someone. Okay, um, I did want to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Goff. So right now, I think this dude is elevating his team a lot more than people thought, even more than I initially showed. So some extra stats that I have found, and it is Jared Goff. His receivers are only getting 30. Is ranked 30th in average separation. That's not good for a team. And I can only grab 8 cobblestone. But um, that just allowed me to see that. Okay, so pressures, for example. Um, Jared Goff is extremely pressured, as I showed you guys in the first 2 weeks. So he gets pressured a lot. And people say, oh, he's not elevating his team. He's actually holding us back, even though we were scored quite literally. Where's doors? Even though we were the second highest scoring offense in the league. Only, actually, never. We were the number one scoring offense in the league. Oh, frick. That scored. We had the highest scoring offense. So what's he holding us back by? He'd be like, oh, we had a couple bad throws. Well, Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Brady were some of the biggest leaders in bad throws uh, a couple seasons ago. Does that mean they're not good anymore? And just because a guy has a couple missed throws, be it touchdowns or just an obvious throw, doesn't mean a guy is playing bad or good. And it's very annoying to me that guys get attacked. But yeah, either way, uh, I'm going to start focusing on the Minecraft gameplay instead of trying to focus on the Lions. And then, oh my gosh, I just got owned. Oh, oh, I actually got owned by a drowned. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. But, there you go. So I wait for this furnace to go. So, one other thing that I think I'd like to mention is, um, if Aiden Hunt, so I think a great example of people needing to show patience that maybe there's going to be season collapses during rookie years. Penei Sewell. Last year, Penei Sewell was a top 5 rookie tackle. Not top 5 rookie tackle. He was a top 5 right tackle, despite having some bad weeks. Ironically, he actually even had a bad game versus Minnesota, and people were saying, oh, we should have drafted Slater, or we should have drafted Parsons, whoever, because clearly Sewell can't cut it. And I think we all know how silly that is because he actually had a 2 week streak actually being bad. So technically, we actually saw some worse performances from Sewell than we did Hutch. But instead, people are already starting to out our top edge. And very easily he could bounce back and have a great game. I'm not saying that Hutch is going to be elite every game. But when you are as good a player as Hutch, who is also when you're as good as a player like Hutch, you get double teamed second most at the edge position, right? And so when you're getting double teamed at the edge position as much as Hutch does, you're not going to have as many plays as, say, Trayvon freaking Walker, who does not have the luxury of not, who does have the luxury of not having double teams. He has Josh Allen, edge rusher, out of Kentucky on his team. He's a team that invested a whole lot of money into getting better players in free agency. Um, and overall, he's a coach that's a little bit more experienced. I think that's one con to our current boy, Dan Campbell, is he is not very experienced in that regard. And that's a full due respect. And so I do think that there's some advantages to having that. Okay, let's real quick. Ow. Quick. There, I'm just gonna put some torches on my island. Wait for it to be day. Bam. Bam. Steak. So Reed Turner also asked, "Do you have any socials besides for YouTube?" I do have a Twitter page. Um, it's S. Just look up the analytics on Twitter, and that's the only social I have. More, I don't really care so much for Twitter. I guess I have my Discord. You can join my Discord. Um, I'll post a link on the chat real quick for my Discord if you ever wish to speak to me, Reed. Because that's generally where I've gotten most of my conversations, anyways. So here, boom, boom. Wait, I want to invite someone. Oh, there we go. Just need a link. Share link. Here. That's an idea I have. Okay. Up there. Boom. Copy link. And here I am in my here's my Discord link posted right here. Start posting that so that way people can talk to me more often. There you go. Okay, now it's daytime. Let's go. Yeah. So next part I want to talk about is defense. So this, you guys will not see me be very negative all the time. I try to keep this channel into the more positive thing. But right now, man, I really do think Aaron Glenn should be on the hot seat in the future right now because he is just not playing to fruition. Last year we were the 31st ranked defense, which is not good. But you may be like, okay, you know, it's understandable that that not everything went according to plan last season. It was a lot of players. Our best player was Tracy Walker and Charles Harris. Solid players, but not a lot to work with. Man, instead, when you have that, you got to start believing. You get the excuse and get another year, of course. But this year, he has Aiden Hutchinson. He has new and improved Jeffrey Okuda, who's been quite the shutdown lately. He's had Ali McNeil. He has John Kaminsky. Had Walker again. He had Deshaun Elliott, Rodrigo. I mean, really, it just doesn't seem like a team that's really improving all that much. And you gotta expect more out of your defensive coordinator because we are. Why I admit we are not a team that it should be elite at defense. I'm gonna say that fair and square there. But we should not be the worst defense in the NFL. And we are far better than that. Great shelter. But, that's just something that I think has kind of just been lost in time, too. Is defense for us has just not been a successful bargain. So, I don't know. Either way, I feel like that's just the thing that Lions fans got to remember is why you can be objective about players. There's also hating too much, but also it's okay to criticize our coaches. I saw a lot of people on Twitter being like, "Oh, you just hate the Lions, yada yada," because Dan Campbell is a great coach, even though that's all this opportunity. Whatever you can think of that, you can see on there. Doesn't mean someone's a same old Lions fan, but there's also such thing as being a same old Lions fan, being like, "Oh, Aiden Hutchinson sucks for real." No saving that, dude. And it's just absolutely crazy to see a guy like that just get called sucky because oh no, he couldn't. Oh my word! You mean to tell me he couldn't get 1,000 pressures and a bunch of sacks versus the Philadelphia Eagles O line? Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Oh no, he had a bad game where he was double teamed 32% of the time versus the Minnesota Vikings. Oh my gosh, this guy is crazy. It's just ridiculous. Like players are allowed to have bad games and more. But here's where I'll also say why I think we'll beat the Seattle Seahawks. I think coaching, ironically, I think a coach that can motivate a guy, Dan Campbell can, and I think Ben Johnson's going to be pissed that he kind of threw away the game a little bit with that 3rd-and-1 call. I really feel like he didn't do enough. I didn't really start seeing much cop. He's going to be really mad that that they didn't win the game because of maybe just a couple of play calls. It's going to really frustrate him, and so I think Ben's going to call himself one heck of a game. I think the team's a little upset that they didn't win that game. And then I think Aaron Glenn's going to kind of be a little bit more pressure of, hey, man, you got to step up as a coordinator. A lot of our big guys who are supposed to be doing good and have had good and shown that they can be good are not playing up to speed. So I think that's going to be up there. I think Campbell's going to be a lot smarter of his play calling. I think last game was a lot of a wake up call. But also, I think it's going to be kind of a good motivational game here. You got Jared Goff. He's very experienced against Seattle, although albeit not the best record. You got Jamal Williams, who's also showed that he was very capable of replacing DeAndre Swift, but he's not as explosive as Swift or maybe Craig. He's still very able to get touchdowns. He's had 2 out of the 3 games, he's had 2 touchdowns. He had some good runs. Honestly, if he had more carries in certain situations, he probably could have even had an 100-yard day. So, something that is kind of there is all this motivation, on these players. We also got a couple guys who are probably going to be having their next man up and prove it guys. So you're going to start seeing maybe Dan Skipper be like, okay, I've had one good game, I've had one bad game. I need to try to make sure that I can get signed to this active roster and really step it up. Maybe you got Quintez Cephas if that he can maybe make some plays since one of the receivers are probably going to be hurt. It's not just all doom and gloom here, and I'm excited to see what they can do. But, okay, so now that I finished this house, I think I'm a bit finished with the live. I think I'll have another live some other time. I'll see if I can get a round table for you guys going, and then maybe next time I have a Minecraft live, I will get some windows. So I'll see you guys later. One Pride. It's always good to see you guys, and see you all later.